All right, let's dive into something we all think we understand, something that rules every single moment of our lives: time. But what if everything we think we know about it is just flat out wrong?
I want you to chew on this for a second. What if everything that's ever happened and everything that ever will happen already exists? All at once. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, I know. But you might be surprised to hear that our best physics is actually pointing us in that exact direction.
Look, for us, this is how it feels, right? Time is like a river. The past is upstream. It's done. You can't change it. The future is downstream, full of all sorts of possibilities. And we're just floating along right here, in the now. It feels totally real, totally universal.
But what if that feeling, that deep-seated gut instinct about the river of time, is just an illusion? A trick our minds play on us to make sense of everything. Because when we start looking at the universe through the lens of physics, that river starts to look a lot less real. So where did this start? Well, the first big crack in our old school idea of a universal clock came from, you guessed it, Albert Einstein. This is where the whole idea of time's steady, constant ticking really started to fall apart. For hundreds of years, we were all on Team Newton. There was one giant cosmic clock, and it ticked at the same rate for absolutely everyone, no matter what. But then Einstein came along and completely shattered that idea. He showed that time is relative. It can actually stretch and shrink depending on how fast you're moving or how strong gravity is around you. Time isn't separate from space. They're tangled up together in the same fabric. And we call that fabric space-time. The best way to picture it is like a huge, stretchy trampoline. A heavy object, like a planet, makes a big dip in the trampoline. That dip is what we feel as gravity. But here's the kicker. It doesn't just bend the 3 dimensions of space. It bends the 4th dimension, time, right along with it. You can't separate them. Okay, so if Einstein put the first crack in the clock, get ready because quantum mechanics is about to take a sledgehammer to it. When we zoom all the way down to the tiniest scales of reality, time gets even weirder, a lot weirder. So in quantum mechanics, the main equations that tell us how tiny particles zip around, they treat time in this really strange way. The variable for time, t, it isn't really part of the quantum world itself. It's more like an outside clock that we use to measure when things happen. It's like time is a spectator, not a player in the game. And things get even more mind-bending when physicists try to build a theory of everything by applying these quantum rules to the entire universe. That quest leads them to this equation right here, the Wheeler-DeWitt equation. It's a single, powerful equation that's supposed to describe all of reality in one go. Now look at that equation. It's supposed to hold everything, all of space, all of matter, all the forces, but there's one absolutely huge, crucial thing that has just vanished. What do you think is missing from the equation for everything? Time. The T is gone. Poof. According to this fundamental equation, the universe as a whole is timeless. It's static, frozen. There's no before, there's no after, it just is. This is what physicists call the problem of time, and it's a huge mystery. Our best description of reality seems to have no time in it at all. So if the basic rules of the universe are timeless, then where in the world does our powerful feeling of time passing come from? This question leads us to a really radical idea, one that connects the physics of the cosmos to the nature of our own minds. And here's how it might work. A conscious mind, like yours, doesn't actually perceive a flow. What it perceives are static snapshots of the universe. One configuration of atoms, and then another and another. It's our brain that takes these separate, timeless pictures and strings them together. It compares them, notices the differences, and then, this is the important part, it arranges them in an order. That mental act of creating a sequence is what generates the feeling we call the passage of time. Just let that sink in. The universe isn't flowing, it just exists. It just contains different arrangements of stuff. Time is the story we tell ourselves to make sense of the difference between those arrangements. It's a feature of consciousness, not a feature of the universe. So if we actually buy into this idea, what does that mean for us, for how we see the world? Well, the implications are pretty staggering, to be honest. This leads us right to a concept called the block universe. The idea here is that all of space-time, the entire past, the entire future, right now, it all exists together as one giant 4-dimensional block. And our consciousness, It's like a spotlight moving along that block, lighting up one slice at a time. And whatever slice the spotlight is on, that's what we call the present. But the past and the future are just as real. They're just other places in the block that our spotlight hasn't hit yet. This quote really just nails the whole idea perfectly. Time isn't some fundamental structure out there in the cosmos. It's a tool. It's a biological and psychological piece of software that beings like us have developed to navigate a world that is changing, but is, at its deepest level, timeless. And that leaves us with one final, very personal thought. As you sit here, experiencing this moment, what is your mind actually doing? You're not just passively watching time flow by like a river. You are actively building your experience of it, snapshot by snapshot. So the real question is, what reality are you creating for yourself right now?